like making them think about it.
Beautiful, so you made it a bit more obvious, didn't you? Who else was a holding player?
Holding the inside defenders by sacking them in on the close and showing the ball to a few different people before throwing the miss ball.
Yeah, excellent. So you're being a threat. In terms of the missed pass, what are some elements there that are important? So, Andrew, you were being missed. So what's important? What's your holding role there?
My holding role is to hold the pushing defenders, just to check them, make them think that I'm getting the ball, so they don't push out and take up the attacker's space.
So what are a couple of ways that you can make the defence think you're getting the ball?
Calling loud big thing, and hands up, making them think that you're going to get the ball. And
our 15, what was your role in that move?
Arcing around the outside man and straightening up.
Good. It's really important when you're throwing a missed ball that the receiver gets the ball and ends up in front of the passer. You don't want to be doing missed passes that are too deep, in other words. And to be effective, the misser needs to straighten up, just like we've done in some other modules, where if we're going to be effective, we need to get onto straight lines. The last move we're going to look at is a double around, and we'll do exactly the same process, come back and talk about what makes a double successful. That's pretty good, wasn't it? What did you guys think? Okay, let's do it again. Yeah, you definitely need to be a wee bit wider. If you can pump and step to straighten. What we did there, we introduced a second setup. It's good to have a couple of move setups for a match. It still keeps it simple. As long as you've got good clarity on what you're trying to do, 2 setups is pretty good. That one there, we were looking at a double around using 10 and 12, and wing was a decoy option. Again, I just want to break down the elements of that move and make sure we understand all the roles and what made it function, because it worked pretty well. So firstly, the holding players there, who were they?
I was a holding player by faking to the winger and then straightening to give it to the 10 in the gap.
Who else was a holding player?
I was running the decoy line so they could pull the defender onto me and leave a hole for the first five to run through.
So who was a hiding player in this move?
I held my line after I gave the ball to the 12 just to hold the defence, and then I doubled round him on the outside and took the ball through the gap.
So as you see, there's good understanding of it. This is a very skilled group and they perform these moves really well. I like to think that the player giving the last pass in a lot of these moves should really be tackled just as the pass is gone. And that means that you're really committed to defence, and probably the move's going to be successful. As you'll see here, now normally the teams that I'm coaching, we normally have 7 versus 7 in our back training sessions. But this is reality. We've got 11 players here. So you just got to adapt the size of the field you're using, who you're using in attack, who you're using in defence. And you can still get the same elements of 7v7 with 11 players, 6 versus 5 or whatever. In my next module on moves, what we'll look at is bringing the forwards into attack, because that's the way the game is today. It's not just about backs doing all the attacking moves anymore, it's about forwards being part of our phase attack. But what I would say is that these are the best coaches, and you've seen that today. I've done very little coaching. What I've done is ask the questions. These are young men with pretty good understanding that have given the answers, and they become really valuable coaches when you teach them within your team. They become peer coaches, and if you can get them talking to the forwards about the roles and the moves, the lines, and the sort of feedback that you need to get from forwards, then you can work them really effectively into your attacking systems.